Hello, my name is Matt, and I'm an aspiring author. While my story about dragons is still being written, I wanted to share with you a small preview of my work and the fantasy world I'm currently building, with the hope that you too can enjoy the world of dragonkind I love writing about so much. I hope to share more content in the future, but for now, please enjoy this 3-minute preview of Oni, the Wine-Coloured Dragon. Chapter 1. The Rusty Contraption. Near 300 million years ago, long before the first humans came into being, gargantuan creatures roamed the earth, ranging from giant flying insects to humongous lizards, who could easily, and rather unknowingly, walk all over and trample you without a second thought. It was a dangerous time without question, but also unique in one aspect, putting aside the quite frankly unnatural sizes of all the creatures. Scattered across the land from the highest peak to the densest forest was a number of villages, built to withstand the trying test of nature and time. Located in these villages, a large number of caves could be found, with many varying in size depending on the location, but otherwise remaining more or less the same. While the outside of these caves was unremarkable and incredibly bland, with all the rocks having the same dull grey about them, it was a completely different look on the inside. At the height of just over 45 feet and width of 40 feet, these caves didn't have stalagmites and stalactites protruding from the ceiling and the ground like you would find in a more common cave. Neither did they have uneven edges on the walls or floor where one could lose their footing and hurt themselves. Everything found in these caves was completely smooth and evenly flat, making it a perfect habitable home for a dragon. Not a blundering dragon prone to violent outbursts who needed to guard some treasure hoard or terrorize some local village, those just simply didn't exist, but for a more sophisticated dragon with intelligence far beyond any human minds of today's world. Unlike the caves they call home, dragons are extraordinary in every aspect, from their previously mentioned intelligence to their distinct and vivid bodily colours. Some dragons are taller than others, some have large horns that can poke someone in the eye if they weren't careful, whereas others have small horns or simply no horns at all. Some dragons have absurdly long tails that you could trip over if you weren't paying attention, and others have shorter ones. These were more common among the females. Just like humans, no two dragons are the same except in very special circumstances. The one thing that makes an individual dragon stand out more than anything else, though, is their pattern. A dragon's pattern can be made up of any number of shapes, be any colour like their body, and be located on any part of their body. Some dragons had gold circles around their eyes like glasses. Others had lime squares dotted on their backs, while there were some who didn't have multiple shapes, but had one large shape instead, spanning across an entire wing, or neck, or tail. It was because of these patterns that dragons could identify one another, and over time they became known as identification marks, ID marks, or markings for short. These peculiar markings also held another purpose. The bioluminescent light the markings displayed indicated a dragon's mood. The happier a dragon felt, the brighter the mark would glow. If a dragon was feeling down, the mark would grow dull, losing its illumination with its colour being replaced by a cold grey. This rarely happened, of course, as dragons are generally happy, well-mannered beings, never getting into any physical violence despite their ferocious and intimidating outward appearance. If any number of dragons was to engage in hostilities with one another, the most that would be done is the throwing of verbal insults which usually accomplished absolutely nothing other than the relief of pent-up frustration and anger. I hope you enjoyed listening to that small preview and will join me on the journey as we delve deeper into the world and everyday life of dragonkind. Thank you.